We are about to go into my favorite restaurant on earth, St. John. This is the place where I think meat cooking has reached its zenith. I don't think my career would exist as it does if it wasn't for this place, which really pioneered nose-to-tail dining. So let's go in there, let's meet the man himself, Fergus Henderson. Let's eat a few of the dishes, and I will reveal to you why this is my favorite restaurant. Now we are back in the kitchen at St. John. This is Jonathan Woolway. You are the chef at St. John. We're going to go through a couple of dishes. Let's talk about the bone marrow first.
Yeah, it's the middle cut section from a veal leg.
Okay.
And
so it's not quite as big as
not quite as big.
But probably more tender marrow, right?
Yeah, and just slightly more delicate in flavour. And then we're just going to roast those through the oven. Toast some of our homemade white bread on there. Classic salad for the bone marrow, never changes. This is picked flat leaf parsley. It's not chopped, it's just what Fergus calls disciplined. So we just give it a couple of dinks with a knife and then it just behaves itself on the plate. There we go, look at that.
So you call that dancing, right?
Dancing on the top.
The next dish we're doing is the lamb sweetbreads?
Lamb sweetbreads, peas, bacon and mint.
Okay, let's explain to the audience what sweetbreads are, because people get a bit freaked out by them, but they are actually one of the most delicious things you can eat. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's basically the thymus gland from a lamb. Young lambs have larger sweetbreads, and then as the lamb matures, the sweetbread becomes smaller and smaller till it's reached its peak.
So by the time it's mutton, there will be
pretty much non-existent, or just like a little straggly gland in there.
These are beautiful, plump, milky white looking.
Beautiful. Then we're just going to fry these up in a pan and then put a spoonful of these lovely braised peas, shallots and bacon. And then I'm going to finish it with some fresh mint. Right, so ox heart. So we've got some beetroot here with a touch of red onion and some garlic. We've just trimmed the excess fat off, which we then use for dripping. Now I'm just going to season this up. It'll be delicious. Ox heart straight on the plate. Over the top then with the resting juices from the heart, and then a touch of horseradish creme fraiche on the side.
Good way to start the day. There you go, sir.
Thank you very much.
Anytime you get to meet one of the seminal meat masters on earth, you've got to celebrate the occasion. So thank you so much for appearing on my humble show.
Pleasure.
This man revolutionized British dining, revolutionized the way that we eat meat, but I think that the ramifications went worldwide. Okay, well, let's not beat around the bush. Let's get right into the ox heart with the beets and the horseradish. There is a hint of pink in there. It's, you know, just medium. Really, it really smells like a steak frite, like that classic searing that you get on the outside of like a poulet steak. It's certainly a lot chewier than a steak would be, but no less flavorful. I mean, it tastes like the animal. This tastes like beef. It tastes like ox. Because the heart's in constant use, it doesn't really get a lot of fat. It's constantly moving. You know, the most tender things on the animal are the things that the animal uses the least. The heart, of course, is literally being used every moment that the animal is alive, this thing is beating. That's why it's not going to have the striation of fat. It's not going to have the tenderness, but it has all the flavor and all of the soul, too. Let's go for the sweetbreads next. This, to me, is like... it smells like spring in Britain. And look at that. Just creamy, creamy, delicious innards. If you've never had sweetbreads, you're really missing out on something. It's almost, in terms of texture, it's gentle and delicate like a scallop, but there's a creaminess to it. And then it has this tang. It's like this earthy tang to it, but it's on the finish. It's not gamey like mutton, but there's definitely an earthiness to it. I don't know anywhere on earth that does sweetbreads that are as compelling as this. Really sort of vibrant, delicious cooking. So here is the signature dish at this restaurant, a dish that has been as influential, I think, in the last 20 years as any restaurant dish anywhere on earth in that same time period. House-made bread, the roasted bone marrows, the parsley salad, the salt. What they've given us is actually a lobster scoop, This is perfect for getting the marrow out of the bones. Just scoop it. As you whip it around, you break it up, and then you just see these sort of gelatinous lumps of marrow just sort of rising up through the ooze. Flip this guy around, you've broken it up. So the way that you do it is you smear it, a little dollop of the parsley, and then some of that salt. It's such a remarkable dish because it seems like it's almost like limitless in its boundaries, yet everything is so constrained and everything sort of balances itself out. You get the crunch from the salt, you get the crunch from the bread. It's really just so balanced in every way. Bone marrow is just really fatty, greasy, oily. It coats your entire palate. It's not really harsh, it's not viscous. It's very gentle in its coating. It's almost liquid by the time it makes it into your mouth. Can't say enough things about this bone marrow. It really is one of my favorite dishes. So if you've been following my career for any period of time, you know why this would be my favorite restaurant. I've eaten at St. John more times than I can count because what they do here is they give you the best flavor that each cut can get you. And there's no reason why one piece of the animal should be any more delicious than the other. It's just about how do you extract the maximum flavor from it. And I think that's what's great about this restaurant. By stripping away all the fineries of fine dining, by stripping away the music, the sound of this restaurant is people dining. It's a sound of glass and table and china getting hit with knives and forks. This represents what I think meat cooking and eating should be. So my advice to you is to not miss out on St. John. Obviously you have to get the bone marrow, but don't be afraid of anything else on the menu. I guarantee you it's on there for a reason. It's all delicious. It'll open up some horizons for you. And let's face it, it's cheaper than eating prime steaks, so good way to save money too. Thanks very much for watching. For the next episode, click here now.
Put in there, not a huge amount, bit of lemon juice, extra virgin olive oil. I mean, this is based on